opportunity, but it's not like
When I feel like once we get the bus and all that, and we like are able to go on the road,
no, everything open,
like,
like it's
dude,
so
it
opens up more, like the creative. That's why
ridiculous.
like they can do Being the Elite. And that's why
Hmm.
they can do all that stuff that's fun and Guevara and all that shit, because there's action behind it, and there's a flow of income to it too, right? Like, so you're also you're doing it and it's fun and stuff, but it all makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So this is the Black Guy.
Hell yeah, about to knock
Darren
us out.
McCarty created Black Guy. Face off, it's Purple Punch 2.0. Face off OG, Fruity Pebbles, and this is where we have it
I
now.
can get the Fruity Pebbles in there. I can definitely feel that.
Well, that's what brings it down. So this is the ultimate 70-30 indica day smoke.
Fuck yeah.
Black Guy.
Yeah, and the people don't understand, like, a lot of people that I'm realizing who like don't smoke a lot, they hear indica and they think that shit's gonna like fuck you up. They're like, oh, indica will knock me, and like you were just like saying, like some of it will, but like when you have that good blend of it,
yeah, it's all about, so, and especially in the Darren McCarty brand or everything that's released in my brand, it's the question I ask is, do you know you have an option, and then it's, what are you trying to accomplish? So it's about effect. So truly, like, without getting too deep, things aren't really sativa, indica, everything's a hybrid. So it's what percentage. So now you're seeing how they interact and how does it make you feel, because everything with a spine has an endocannabinoid system, so craves this plant. But everybody's recipe is different.
Yeah, no, 100%, especially in Michigan.
Now the thing that I encourage is now, as the education has come out and the fact that we know this is a medicine, mm-hmm. It can alter. So for the fact that I'm an alcoholic, and anybody who's got alcoholic tendencies or issues or insomnia, mm-hmm. then I would direct them towards because I'm create for me, mm-hmm. but it's also two similarities. So we find that too, because and you know this, because which is important, why you see the Darren McCarty brand, with ICW, RPW, ETU struggles, if you see it around, it's because there's a whole bunch of different levels, but it's important that everybody has the option. And if I can provide and start an education with you guys, where you guys get smarter, 100%. At the end of the day, guys, is if they feel better out of the ring, they're going to create stuff better in the ring. And then I'm going to get more entertained.
Yeah.
Like the spots and stuff. And so it's just sleep. And if we're in a world where, to me, being a stoner is like being a vegan. Yeah. Like people are vegan or whatever. No, it's I always say, Tom, I'm never high. I'm always fully medicated.
Yep.
And it's for all the guys that, put on the line and have this option, because a lot of us know the alternative and it ends bad, and we don't want to be there.
Well, and it's like, and you touched on like the alcoholism and stuff, and I also had that when I was in the military. Came home from deployment.
I saw you just slamming.
Oh, dude, in the mop bucket.
Yeah,
bro. So that fun story.
That shit. That's no one. That that's why you're on the level psycho dad. You're level psycho.
That's why we mesh so well too.
Well, it is.
That video I posted, I'll clip it into the podcast. Yeah. We were all, I don't even remember why. I think we were just like drinking because it was Saturday and we were breathing.
Yeah.
But we went out and we had found on base, they had Bacardi 151 in the plastic tube, like the plastic bottle. And then they also had in a plastic bottle.
Yeah, it's because they were melt glass.
Literally. And then they had what was called Bacardi Zombie. I don't know if you've ever had that.
No.
Bro, it's like this color blue right here. So it's like almost like the Detroit Lions, Honolulu blue.
Wow.
And all we did was we got a brand new mop bucket and a thing of ice. We dumped it in there. We took 151 in that zombie and just emptied the bottles. We got like 4 bottles, I think. We just dumped it all in there, stirred it up, and just put it in the fridge. Got hammered on shots, just shots after shot after shot. Then we go in there and we're like, all right, let's take a shot of that. I took a shot of it and I was like, that's not liquor. And they were like, what? And I was like, you guys, did you put a mixer in there? And they were like, no, we just put the zombie and the Bacardi in there. And I was like, no, did you put like Baja Blast in there? That shit tastes like Baja Blast. And they were like, no. So, dude, it was filled. at the start of the night. When I got it, there was like about that much left in it, and bro, they just handed it to me. This is how bad of an alcoholic I was. Somebody handed that to me and was like, "You won't finish that." And instead of just being like, "You're right, I won't," because that's fucking like a gallon of alcohol. I was like, "Fuck it," and I literally just like the video cuts, but I literally chugged the whole thing, set it down,
just prove it to you, buddy.
Dude. Well, and that's why I think, none. I was like, dude, I was a rare breed.
That's good.
I was up until I came home from the military. When I came home from the military, that's when like my hangovers and stuff started getting.
Right.
But I was like re-entering normal life. It was like the military is almost like prison.
Right.
So like when you get out of like the military, it's like you're back home from jail.
Regimented, right?
So like you gotta like reatone everything and realize you can't just go out on a Wednesday and get shithoused.
Because you guys, well, and it's funny. It's not like you don't have shit to do in the military the next day, like run 10 miles or whatever. But
you're in a
trained.
It's like a controlled environment where like you're only
so
getting yelled at.
That's more where the correlation of the military and the locker room,
for sure,
right? So the brotherhood, because when we were younger, back in the winning out on the road or whatever, like, everybody was responsible. We used to have to play guilty. We wouldn't do it all the time, but every now and then.
Like that's why I think switching from the military into wrestling and maybe it's the same way for you, like switching from hockey over to wrestling. Where it was like you're re-entering society.
Time out, kid. Right, you're the wrestler. Right, the whole thing is what it is because I'm not the wrestler. I'll be around. I'll do it.
In there.
I'll do it. I don't want to do it, but you know what? I've been skewered and gusted in.
Oh man!
I mean, I'm there for the team. I'm the team guy.
For sure.
You know, my whole thing is it's the passion, Tommy, and I think that anybody wants to know the connection behind you and I. It's coming around, and you know, obviously XI, which is
that's where we first met. Was
XI. So XI will always have a place in my heart, and Malcolm, Monroe, and the whole Monroe family,
the Monroe
just the Hot Rocks, and you know that's where we met Verdi and all the different guys. But I owe it to Jay Adams, Eddie Venom. So he's my good buddy for a lot of years. And I remember I used to watch him, you know, and not. I've been such a huge wrestling fan. Everybody knows. Follow Darren McCarty 4 on Twitter or whatever like that. I'm into it. Now, what I realize is because I'm fortunate enough to have, you know, to be friends with a lot of the guys that I grew up idolizing, and it's funny because to get an opportunity now is because it's the passion of you know, the like we call in Michigan the 4 pillars. And you see Jason Hotch and Jack Price already making an impact, no pun intended. Impact. And then you and Malcolm.
Me and
then I look at like Verdi and yes, I'd look at the Dread King Logan and Grimy Zach Thomas.
Midwest Scum, shout out Midwest Scum.
As you know, that's my FTR, and you'll see me represent them.
Sure, that's
it's your passions. And it's your passions and it's your love. And I can't put over Malcolm Monroe II, the crazy bastard at his age. He's loving it because he leads the charge. And it's the love that he leads the charge. And I watch all you kids that grow up the right way, of care for each other. And so back to that locker room mentality. Yep. And now you do it in a good way, you know, so to being able to travel over. And then for me to love, you know, ECW back in the day, and eventually, you know, to get the opportunity, you know, that Danny presented me, and then Chris at RPW, and to meet all the guys and sort of sit behind the scene, but also to you know, to be the you know, your dad and all that stuff. No, but because it's a connection, because it's real, and tell the story. So I think what people have to understand is we live it more. It's technically a gimmick because the DNA, but it's the chosen family. It's the Detroit, Michigan sort of
Detroit
love
Mafia,
thing.
Man.
You know, it is. Really it's the family. So then we take it and we carry it and we back it and we have so much fun doing it. I've had so much fun in the last year because of just getting educated and stuff. And I figured it out. We're people ask, like, everybody, there's love what you love, right? In the wrestling, I love blood because Danny told me right first time, and I remember Michigan, the ICW, when I first met everybody, is that blood and sweat tell a different story, right? And because where I came from is that's why I love the death match, because it's everybody is all in. We're talking about the camaraderie, is you have to be invested, and it's more
it's past a career at this point. It's a lifestyle.
It is a lot. You know what, Tommy? And I think that's and the way, and then you look at, like, just for the impact of over this last weekend and whatever, and being so proud. And I know you're gonna go and beat the living shit out of her on.
Dude, Casey's done.
But she's so done, dude. But to watch her and the way that she's traveled across the world, and just that fight with Rina Yamashita the other day. I watched that, dude, and it was just sort of.
You can see. I love, for me, and sorry to interrupt you.
No,
for me, I love when I am watching a match, whether there be blood, whether there be no blood, whatever it may be, just a wrestling match, and you see, like, emotion. It's not like conjured emotion. You see real emotion. Like, this was, like, for me, what that was, like, the match with them was, Casey was essentially like, "No, motherfuckers, I'm here." Like
that was the coming out party.
She was, and like, not that like her whole year with ICW wasn't her coming out. I think that was like building her foundation for her to be like, "Nah, fuck you, I'm still here."
You're in the ring with everything like that. Nothing was given to her. She earned everything. You know, and it's just cool to see, because it elevates everybody else. But then you see John Wayne Murdoch, who's the Duke's the GOAT of a person, living legend, but him and Drew Parker to be able to send off even at that story. And that's just the blood. But also I love the humor, right? I love watching you guys. Like, see, here's the concept, right? And it's almost like you realize it's a lifestyle, but the deathmatch lifestyle, but you guys all wrestle your nuts off. You don't even ever need to bleed to do anything like that. But it's the sort of, I love the comedy. I love like, if you can make everybody make fun. That's why I always loved your character.
So you have to, in a way, like, what we're doing is really ridiculous. Like, when you actually sit back,
just try to get nobody to tell us.
Yeah, if you just sit back and you think about it, you're paying, like, a bunch of people are paying money to come and watch, like, two grown adults pretend fight. Like, I mean, you really are, like, hitting and stuff like that. We all know that, but, like, we know who's going to win and all that and whatnot. But, like, it's ridiculous. So if you can't sit there during that match and realize that and just be in the moment and realize, like, this is fucking ridiculous. So I can make myself, like, my least favorite thing about when I wrestle with someone and I have an idea where, like, it might, if they're the bad guy, it might make them look a little dumb. They're like, "Oh, I don't want to do that because that'll make me look stupid." And it's like, that's the whole point.
The heel,
you're the bad guy. You're supposed to
get the most heat. It doesn't matter how.
How I look at it is, like, I could be like, you've been out there. You see me being the goofy ass heel, and then you see me being like the "No, I'm gonna fucking kill you" heel.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And like there's a very fine line, in my opinion, that you can play on during a match, where, like, you're going out there and you're the bad guys. But then somewhere through the match, like, they start to kind of get behind you a little bit. So now you kind of got to do something to be like, no, I don't want you behind me. I want you to either hate me or laugh at me.
So
like, I want you to think.
And isn't that the old school? And this is what I love, because you're playing, and this the XI, where the roots come from, where it's old school from Big Daddy Monroe and all this stuff.
Sure.
Play the crowd.
Yeah,
right. You're a huge crowd guy. Like, it's
you've
been old school, and trust me, because I listen to you guys put your matches together, but I also listen for where the crowd spots and read it and go this, because it's advanced or not. I don't know if it's advanced, but say, well, we should get them to here. But if they don't get here, I'm going to do this. Yeah. Okay. But be ready and to watch all that. Like, I always go back, and we've talked about it, but I've never had it on camera. I got, like, my favorite was obviously in Chicago, you and Oren Veit,
dude,
because I was ringside and I didn't know the outcome. Like, and I was there and I wasn't involved because it was, whatever that, but I was there for support and wandering around the ring and watching that, and I didn't know, and I think the great caught it on it like that. That was so. That's the natural. The unthought that to me that was like when I won the cup, like that feeling you get of jubilation, or when you sink a birdie putt, or when you do something like, and it was so, I was so into it, and I remember just sitting there going, man, I love wrestling. And then obviously because ICW and what Danny is, and that was in Chicago, man. But it's the stories, because I'm the storyline guy. I don't have to like it. It's got to make sense. And that's why if you see me involved at all, and that's why I love the RPW angle, that went all the way back to Harpo's, where Ricky Shane Page, I got chokes landed by him on the glass, and then Atticus skewered me. And then I got screwed in the summertime outside for being in the wrong place, and dropkick being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And finally I got him at the last one. Ricky actually gave me the two, but so to be involved, I mean,
that's long-term booking, man.
Look at I feel like Wolverine, man. Look at that one. That's a good one. I remember that was a good one. But you had a piece of glass, and I saw that. I was going through today. Did you see the piece that Bam took out? Piece of glass Bam took out of his, and then Mickey. Oh, so if you guys, it like it may be scripted, but it's
the dangers, like the whole shtick at the beginning. Like I remember growing up when I bought the Undertaker like WrestleMania DVDs, and at the start of it they always say like their bodies, their careers, their lives are on the line, so please do not try this at all. Like it's like it's all real.
Now would you say 100% what Undertaker was trying to tell you back in the day?
100%. Like, because like, and even more so with like death matches.
Well, here's the beauty, right? And this is why I describe it, and I said about the blood. But think about death match, right? You got two combatants, right, that are supposed to be wanting to kill each other with weapons all around that could kill each other. So the fact that they make it look the best means they have to take even extra care of each other. So really, you are more in your opponent's hand, because death with all this stuff, and we've seen accidents and stuff like this, and you never want anything. But and you know what? Slack told me two things, which I love. Is said if you're going backwards, if you get your hand behind your head, you'll never break your neck, right? And then he also said, and the best guys can make it look sloppy, right? Can make it look so violent and sloppy and almost out of control, but be in control.
Yeah.
Right? And that's so true. And just watching some of the spots. And
Let's look at Orin and me with the Falcon Arrow. And everybody thought I got skewered. They were like, they thought the chair literally impaled me when I went into that corner. But we had time. We had traced it so much, and I knew he was good enough to turn me enough to where, if any, like I got the scar on my back, but that was from the glass cutting me.
But these are what you're talking. Like, you're talking about stuff that's rubbing racing, but you knew, and that's the whole thing. So, and as all you guys get better and deeper and everything else at it, it makes it more exciting. And then so at the end of the day, so now you understand why I figured out my lane is to put you guys back together. You know, I want and that's where like the CBD roll-ons and
dude, that fucking THC rub you gave me.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know what the fuck that shit's made.
Michigan 2.0 organic.
Dude.
Which is the best out there. Shout out Vince.
Shout out to Vince, because that shit has I'm almost positive I've broken my neck, and that shit's put my bones back in place, dude. Like, I've literally just put like a little bit on my finger and just sat and done this for like 5-6 minutes, and then I'll be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then I'll like rotate my neck. I'll get like a bunch of neck cracks and shit. And I'm like,
throw a picture on there of it to show people.
Yeah, no,
that's the best on the market. Sure. Like my roll on with CBD, which is e-commerce, which is a whole other conversation.
Dude, and that fucking post match. There's nothing better for like my hips, my knees.
I would put that on pre-match and post-match. You know, one, and then the deeper stuff. So
I've been doing the deeper stuff before my matches, and after I'm floating for like a day.
Well, and that's finding your lane, and this is the option to have it. So hopefully even more so in the near future, all you guys, and then to the fans and everything else like that. So it's having that conversation of whichever way would and CBN with sleep and recovery and stuff.
Dude.
That's important also too, because
people don't realize like how important like
that's the one
recovery sleep is.
Absolutely. And I think that's my whole focus as far as okay, Tommy, I will recovery. Say yes, and made the transition to the wrestling, but it's more I want to be the behind the scenes guy of the health and wellness of getting you guys more on a schedule. You know my plan as far as with the brand and getting a bus to be able to drive around, to take everybody, but it's also too to be able to have recovery and sleep. And you guys traveling around, driving everywhere, all hours of the day. I mean, I love doing it because there's no better stories. I mean, dude, how often do you get to, I'm not going to break the kayfabe, but you got some of your favorite villains that I get to carpool with. Dude, you know who you are out there.
And that's the king of the enforcer, man. The king of the enforcer, bro. Yeah. Like for me, like some of my favorite memories when I first started coming into the business were just like road trips. Like, dude, like it was me. Shout out my boy Carm. We would roll to Rockstar all the time. And then Heidi Katrina would go with us every now and again. Aaron rolled with us a couple of times. We would take Austin Mannix. He was the one who got us in there. But we would all like just the amount of times, like, dude, I was so tired one time. I wasn't driving. Carm was driving. And I was like, I got to keep him awake. So I'm just going to keep talking the whole time. So we just like for 3 hours, we were back and forth talking. We pull up to his house. He turns the car off. We were driving my car, and he just turns and looks at me, and he goes, "When did we get here?" And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Did you drive?" And then he turns and looks, and he goes, "Oh." And dude, I didn't realize how tired I was. Yeah. I start driving home, and like I'm cruising. I pull up, get in, go inside. Get in the shower. It wasn't until I opened the shower curtain and then I was like,
"Oh, where am I?"
And dude, like it sounds ridiculous, but dude, we were rolling up to Super Kicked up in Toronto. We were out in your neck of the woods there for shout out to Canada.
Shout out to Canada.
But we were excuse me, we were going up that way. And Aaron's dad, rest in peace, he had just passed away. So we were literally going to pick Aaron up from like, I don't know if it was the funeral or if it was the viewing or if it was like the reception after the funeral, but we were picking him up from something like that. And Aaron, he's a fucking serial killer. And so we're going to, we roll up.
Straight serial killer.
We're like real respectful. We turn the music down. We're all sitting there waiting. And Aaron comes running out of the building with his kids and he's laughing, joking around. And he's like, "Let me just grab my shit and I'll be right in." And then we're like, "What the fuck?" So then he gets in the car, acts like nothing is wrong. And like, when you know Aaron, that's not uncommon. Right. But at the time I was still like kind of getting to know him still. And I remember he gets in and then he tells us the story. His dad was cremated, and they couldn't find where they put the ashes. And Aaron has 2 brothers, I believe, an older and a younger. And his younger brother was like, "Hey, where's Dad?" Like, and one of their friends was like, "Ha, you don't know where your dad is." And Aaron's laughing his ass off telling us this fucking story. And I'm just like, I'm in the passenger seat like, "Are you okay, bro?" Because I didn't know who it was at the time. But like,
different people mourn differently.
Dude,
right?
But I mean, like, just a handful of those stories. Dude, it's so fucking stupid. And we've had some fucking sweet ass road trips, man.
Oh, yeah.
You, me, Malcolm, fucking Don Holland. So question for you. Okay. You brought up the enforcer
yes.
earlier. So as somebody who, like, Would you consider yourself like the enforcer of the Red
No,
Wings?
because
that's the
I
thing,
mean,
when I hear
it,
that's
it
what
was
people-
handed. I guess it was as if you looked around.
It's like a badge of honor given
Well,
to
no,
you
if you
type
looked
thing.
around to see like who would hold that card without like Joey there, Proby there,
Yeah.
or whatever. But yeah, I guess the enforcer, but I wasn't. Like there's a lot tougher, a lot bigger.
Well, because like you
heavyweights,
were
but
I was
I was just the
but like you were legitimately skilled as a hockey player though. Like junior years, you were like
and that's
you were top shelf.
The beauty looking back. Yeah, I won OHL players. I always say that. Hey, Kirk Maltby, my fellow grindliner, number 18, his last year junior, he had 50 goals. But Darren McCarty had 55 and won Player of the Year.
As you say, I thought it was 52 or 55. I couldn't remember.
But anyways, and then we end up on the grind lines. We could all play. That looking back,
that was probably the best line. Too.
The greatest thing for me was that Scotty Bowman was my coach. Because he understood me more than I understood myself and how I would use, because he would yell at me and he would tell me, like Scotty Bowman is, you're allowed to make mistakes, but don't make the same ones twice. And if I tell you never to do it again, don't ever do it again.
That's fair.
But he would keep me out of fights. He would keep me out of fights sometimes. You know what I mean? By telling me not to. Right. Because he needed me to play. Like there's a bunch of times when the other teams, like tough guys, wanted to pick a fight, and I'd be always willing to fight, and he'd be yelling at me from the bench, "Don't fight him! You won't play another shift."
Yep.
I mean, thank goodness. Sometimes it's like
no, you need that, and I mean, like
so it was all for what the betterment of the team was, and then, but he never told me to, or never told me like he'd tell me not to.
Yeah. So he was like almost like pulling the reins back for you.
Which I look back and say like he was doing that because he was doing me a favor.
Yeah.
And I didn't look like the pussy. It was like boss said, just listen to the boss. And sometimes it's like, oh, thank God, I didn't want to fight that guy.
I love that though, man. Was there ever a fight you got into that you regretted after?
Well, Joey Koch, the one that comes to mind that Scotty saved my life was against Tony Twist, who Tony Twist, like him and guys like Joey Koch or Dave Barrow, guys that would break your face with one punch. Dude. You don't want to just fucking. You don't want to. It'd be like getting hit with it. Like if Cruel got mad and he just smoked you, right? Like no, please not. Yeah. Like he's big enough anyways when they get their hands on it. But so Scotty leaned over the bench and used if you fight him, you'll never play for me again. But I fought Joey Kosher my rookie year when he was the Rangers. And I'm a left the only time I squared off right, because the only thing more lethal than Joe Kosher's right hand is Thor's hammer. Right? And so we squared off. He threw a punch. I ducked. He took a piece of my helmet off with a punch. We end up in a headlock.
Like broke a piece of your helmet off?
Broke a piece of my helmet off. We end up in a headlock. We hit our heads on the ice. He looks at me, he goes, "You all right, kid?" I looked at him and I said, "Thanks for not killing me, Mr. Kosher." which is
how old were you at the time?
21. But this was, and then he came on our team later. But this is the vendetta. This is where, like, how Darren McCarty is Tommy Vendetta's lovable psycho dad to the psychopath, because that is the vendetta way. Because if you don't kill us, we're gonna come back and we're gonna haunt you in good ways or whatever like that. We don't die young, right? You gotta keep eating us.
You fucking
like
we're
honestly,
zombies, bro.
Guys, seriously, if you think he's done, kick him again, and he's not done, and he likes it. Like that's the whole thing. The more when I watch you and I see you get that fired up, or that gear where it's like, oh yeah, it's like man. You're in the ocean and you go past a sandbar and everybody wants to stay on the sandbar. No, Tommy's in the deep water. Yeah.
I mean, like maybe I mean you probably have similar like feelings in that way where it's like you almost thrive when your back's against the wall.
Absolutely. Like, I live. People tell me why I can't do things, and I've realized that I'll shove it up anybody's ass when I decide that I care enough about it. Right? I'm not, like, to the point that the guy going, "Hey, you can't drink that." Right now, we don't take those challenges unless, like, we're gonna give it to you. We're gonna give you what you want, but not when you want it. When we want to give it to you. So whether I do or not, to make that point. that's me deciding, not proving it to anybody.
For
'cause it's
sure,
proven
man.
it's not, right? So
that's the best way I've ever heard that said.
so
for sure.
right, so when you understand, because the one thing that I realize, and if anything, it doesn't matter, is I've realized that the number one is don't lie to the person in the mirror.
Yeah.
Right. So and when
You
we
always
come
gotta be
there,
true.
and when you can live with guilt and shame, and actually stand there and hold yourself accountable, and just have that conversation, it doesn't make anything greater, but you willing to put the work in it, and then it gets better and better and better, and you know, it's all about what do you put in to get out. That's what I tell you. Like,
Yeah.
it's what I follow you kids, and what I love is because I see the same passion that I had, that I'm going here, right? And that's it. And I see it because you guys put the work in, and you have that camaraderie, and there is a huge thing about the Detroit Mafia thing, but that, like, we're all,
it extends like past wrestling though too. Like it's through all of like Detroit sports. There's like
it's through the culture, and
it's that Detroit versus everybody, like
mentality, so to speak, and there's different ways to lead the way. You know what I'm saying? And it's just having fun doing it. Obviously,
For
you
sure,
know, you know, a lot of big things ahead, and it's fun. Like I told you from day one, dude, I'm just want to be there ringside, just watching all this, and the way that I can watch it be involved, and the stories that you guys tell, and just watch you execute them, and then, you know, be able to look at things, because it's still, I get immersed in, like, I'm watching TV, but I'm like,
what's like the Orin Knight match, like you were saying, dude, I think my favorite part about that, everything felt perfectly, like the commentary from Struggs and all, like it's just perfect, but then the angle that they
whoever took that angle
is IWTV. Is literally IWTV gets the perfect angle where it's facing out into the crowd, and you just see you sprinting back and forth, jumping up and down. Like when it's 1, 2, 3, you literally jump into the air, and it's literally, it looks like proud father
parent,
moment.
Proud parent.
But then like the camera then just cuts over to me, and I just look pissed off, dude. But like and like I remember going through the curtain.
The joy you should have had came out through me, because you were so dialed into the moment.
Yeah,
right.
No, it's almost like,
but the storytelling, and that's that story right there, and it goes to how great, and it's really cool to see and to get behind, and, you know, obviously, with IWTV and Fight Plus and all this stuff, to be able to get to see all the wrestlers and meet all the wrestlers and get to know, you know what I mean? That's really cool too, because it gives you something to root for when you know a little bit more about them.
No, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
It's easier to like people.
Absolutely. It's easier to cheer them, and it's easier to boo them, and understand that that's not being disrespectful. That's being, if you're a heel, but you're a great heel, man, I will get behind you and hit your fucking guts. Yeah. You know, like, it's the ultimate respect that I can give to,
for sure,
to Atticus Kogar, who's fucking,
dude, just different
he's
levels,
as fucking sinister as they get.
He's on a new
I don't even
level,
trust that little shit at it. You know, I know I gotta keep my back.
You saw I got him with Kobayashi.
Oh yes.
RPW.
Yes. Yes, so I did see that.
We're gonna have to have a USA Japan alliance for that one, and just say fuck Ohio.
Hey, you know what? Yeah. We'll have to. Anybody, please get the translation of fuck Ohio in Japanese, please.
Please.
Yes.
Comment below.
And Kobayashi, what do you need, bro? What do you need? Come talk to Pops.
We got you.
Pops has got you. What do you like? American fast food. He likes the hamburgers.
He loves the hamburgers.
Dude, how much fun is he? Like,
he's a ball, man. He's legit. I love that dude, man.
Like, it's so much fun to be around.
He's just a giant bear, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
Let me ask you a couple things. Is it because, and I think this is important too, because a lot of people, this is sort of right now, your year's sort of getting started off, right? You're gonna get busy now and stuff like this. So
March is
how's the body? Well, yeah, but I mean, it's like all the stuff that you want. So it's, but it's also too. So I'm gonna ask you from taking bumps, and I wouldn't say ring rust or whatever, because I know you're practicing. But how about, like, in the death match? Does it take a few matches to get the scar, like to get the
So,
How does it work? Like, explain
So,
to
like,
people out there how it works and that.
so lately for me, how it's kind of, because I've only wrestled 4 times this year so far,
Yeah,
I think.
but the body feels good, right?
Oh, dude,
So that's the point.
So the thing is, like, for the last like year and a half, I really haven't done a lot. Like, I
Right.
haven't been working out. Like, since we moved into the house, like, I've been putting shit together. Like, it's like
Absolutely.
I haven't been eating as well. Like, I lost like probably 30 pounds. Like, I was jokingly telling Stephanie, my girlfriend, I was like, if I went to a doctor's, they'd probably be like, "Oh, dude, you just fucking survived being a prisoner of war or something, bro." Like, because like I was probably like malnutritioned a little bit. Because I legit, like, I would literally only eat sugary foods to like just give me energy just to get through the day. Because I always, like, my brain was like, you got this to do. So like I would just, food's not on the option.
Right.
So then, like, I think it was about like a month or two ago, I just was like, you know what, like, my body is my career. Without it, like, there is no career. So I was like, all right, I got to start eating. I literally did. I went like 2 weeks eating solid, like, just not like doing like 5,000 calories or anything crazy like that. Just eating normal,
eating good, get the body back
with a couple of milkshakes mixed in there. And I put on like 10 pounds in a week and a half.
Good.
Just like putting it back on. And then I started working out more. Like, my shoulders are shot to shit and I can't really do free weights. So I've been doing resistant band workouts or body weight. And I feel fucking fantastic. But like, going in with Casey and whoever I got in the vortex, if I'm in the vortex, I don't even know. It'll probably be like when for Casey, I'll be ready. But for that vortex, like that first glass break, and it's gonna kind of be like a well, because the last death match I had was Sakuda. RPW, where I got that.
Yeah,
and this has kind of like kept me mentally in deathmatch mode, because like, I haven't really had a fucked cut yet, and that one was like probably my first one where I was like, probably should have gotten stitches.
I got one too.
Yeah, like, we both got the same one on the same night. And like, we both probably could have gotten stitches,
but we didn't.
The show must go on. We had to go, and I had to go with Crowbar and ICW in Jersey.
That's it.
But no, like this is kind of like, it was like a reality check. It was like, yo, dude, like, you needed stitches for that, and you were fine.
Yeah.
So like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it. And like, that's kind of like the mentality. When I first started doing deathmatch, I was a pussy.
As people can see, as Josh turns into Tommy, and that's that's the beauty. What I love about those wrestling characters and getting to know people is to see how okay, I can see the person and then separate the reality, because I got D-Mac and I got Darren, right? But that's like, I love it when the Tommy comes.
Well, if you watch like the first 2 years of my career, it literally looks like Josh trying to portray a character. That's what it. And then the character I was trying to portray was essentially just Aaron, because I didn't, like, I was tagging with him all the time. I didn't like.
Well, that's
have
what you
my own.
saw.
Yeah. So I didn't like.
So what? I know it's a little off topic, but what was it? Was it a click?
So it was.
Or what was the switch?
It was like, unfortunately, Aaron's son had cancer over the pandemic, and when that happened, like, I lost my tag partner, like, for good reason. Like, I'm not complaining or anything, but like, he had to take a step back and be there for Wyatt, so I was like back out on my own.
So you lost your security blanket, and you had to find yourself, or swimmer sink.
Yeah. So I basically just started, like, I was watching everything. I was like, no matter what it was, I'm going to watch death matches. I'm going to watch intergender. I'm going to watch tag. I'm going to just watch everything and just indulge. And then I started getting into death matches, and I was like, oh, this is fucking sick, dude. This is like when I first saw it, I was like, this is like ECW. Like, and then realizing now it's nothing like ECW. But I was like watching. I was watching it. I started getting, like, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, if the opportunity presents itself, I'm gonna do one. And like, I really started with, my only intention was to just do one. I was like, I just want to get my toes wet in it, and then, like, we'll see from there. But I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I gotta go all in on it. Like, I gotta be ready to gush. I gotta be ready to take glass. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it all. And from the first one, I got done with it, and it was like it's like the craziest high I've ever had. Like I've smoked, I've smoked a lot of weed. I want to get into psychedelics and stuff like that. I've done them a couple of times here and there, but like genuinely, like just walking through the curtain and you like I feel the warmth of the blood and like my brain in your brain, you should be like, fuck, dude, I gotta go to the hospital. But like I was literally like I was like vibrating my whole body. I wasn't shaking or anything, but like I could feel like a vibration going through me. There's a picture of me smoking a joint with my hat like cocked up, and I got like a grin on my face. It's one of my favorite pictures. I gotta get it hung up in here.
Ball,
literally.
No, but no, that's where I realized that's why you see me. Why am I willing? That's the secret, right? Because the crazy or the stuff, the blood on the ice, I got a couple great shots or whatever, but that was always sort of turned. That was like turn it to a different gear. That's why when I get, that's why when it's skewer, if you watch the summer RPW, it is DMAC. When I got skewered by Atticus in the tag with Midwest Scum, I left those skewers in for like half hour or an hour. Right? I was just walking around like a peacock.
You came down and I was just like, hey man, you want some help? Like, I can pull those out of your fucking head.
No, don't touch it.
And you were like, no man, I'm owning it. I'm owning it. And I was like, all right, man.
But it's just, but it's that sort of thing too. And even to the last RPW show, you know, where Otis gave me payback with the bundle and stuff. I love that shit.
Dude,
like
payback. Like it's telling the story.
Well, it's being part of it, but it's the adrenaline and the whole everything coming in it. And to me, it's just because I guess we're a little twisted that the blood tells the story, right, kid? Right, girls?
One of the kiddies is. But you mentioned payback. To segue. Yeah. I've literally, we've talked about this a couple of times, but I've literally always wanted to ask you, like, and I've seen the documentary on it. I've watched it back.
We're talking March 26, 97, Sweet Revenge, Fighting It at the Joe.
Dude.
I call it Red Wing D-Day, but you talked about the pummeling, turtling of Claude Lemieux.
Because let me tell my side of it real quick, and then I'll hand the reins over.
Or you can ask the question.
So the question will be at the end. I got you. So I was 2 years old when it happened, so obviously I wasn't like cognitive of everything, but looking back, that's the one that ran away. She came back in, the little fucker. But so I was when I was old enough, I remember I started getting into hockey. I was playing like NHL hits. You were like legit my favorite character in that game because you had like all of the skills that you needed in that game.
Which, by the way, shout out to all the video game. Like, I don't care what it is, but Sports. I always got my video game guy was better than my hockey guy, or like the stats, like. It always got props. Like because everybody I get more that D-Mac was good in all those games.
Dude, you sell yourself short though. You were exactly the skills. Like, dude, like come on now. Because I remember NHL hits, bro. All you had to do was get into a fight, and your dude would get lit on fire, and then he was unstoppable. And dude, like you had the puck skills in that game to where like once you were lit on fire, like it's fucking done. Like it would be you. Iserman, and it would either be Osgood or Hasek.
We might have to find that just to bring it out. Dude, when we get the bus, we'll bring it out and to play on the bus just to pop the
PS2.
Yeah, absolutely. Go back. I think they sell them where you can plug them in now.
For sure.
I'm going to look into it.
But dude, so I remember I was like playing the game one time, and my dad looks at me and he goes, "What do you know about Darren McCarty?" And I was like, I know he's really fucking sweet this goddamn game. Like, I was young. I wasn't really around. Like, I was around for the tail end of the Red Wings.
And what year were you born?
95.
So, 95. So 97, 98, 02, you're 7 years old. 08, you remember because you like 12 or 13.
Yep. Oh, my bad. You can have one of these waters if you want, brother. But I remember he was like, let me show you why this man is a legend. And I was like, all right. So he showed me the Lemieux incident. On Draper. Yeah. He showed me that.
Which, if you're not sure, go back to the Game 6 conference finals, 96. Claude Lemieux, the most hated villain.
Dude.
Like MJF Like,
worse
than MJF, but everybody hated him. And he hit Chris Draper, my son, from behind, right in front of me, broke his jaw in 4 spots, crushed his orbital bone.
Dude.
The interview, and he didn't. And here's the thing: it's life in sports. Bad things happen, but you can't lose respect for a fellow human. He'd never apologize. Said you would never heard of him, and this is what he says after the game in an interview. So
yeah. But I remember seeing that, and then he was like, "Now let me show you the revenge." And I think it was like almost a full year later.
It was 10 months.
And and that's how he pitched it to me. It was literally like I felt like I was in a movie when he was telling me.
Which story do you interrupt? But so whenever this comes out, so March 26th this year will be 26 years.
Ooh.
And if you're interested in it, ESPN or go on YouTube and check out Unrivaled. We did last year for the 25th anniversary.
Legit. Please
everybody told their side of the story.
It's legitimately one of the best sports documentaries I think I've ever seen.
And because you lived through it. So how old were you when he showed you that?
Oh, dude, I had to have been probably just either right before teenage or just into my teens.
Right on.
But I remember like watching the fight unfold. You know, I think it was Larry Onoff got into it with, was it Forsberg?
Yes, it was. Give the man a cookie.
And they start going at it. They stumble down. And then you just hear the fucking place come unglued. And then the camera cuts. And you got him full turtle. You're just fucking him up, dude.
Well, the difference between a sucker punch, which is from behind,
that was my question. I wanted to ask, what's the difference between sucker punch and a cold
sucker
cock?
Punch and a cold cock, right? Sucker punch, 99.6% of the time is from behind. It's cheap. Don't do it. That's what heels do. The other 0.4, they deserved it. But a cold cock, think about it. 10 months, your best friend, center of the grind line. I was the best man at Chris Draper's wedding. So you want a revenge for this? I mean, it's we see the stories in wrestling, but this is like real. And the fact that when I popped up and I looked him between the eyes, and I'd seen it a million times, is that I pulled back, and every man, woman, and child that was a Wings fan, didn't matter what age you were, what animals, everything, and I folded him into a turtle. In fact, he said, Claude Muse said he didn't turtle. He said it's the hardest he's ever been hit. He was knocked the fuck out. And I said,
shit, real?
Thank God I can't hit you any harder. But I wasn't done, dude. I was trying to put my fist through his skull, rip out his heart. And then when I couldn't do that, I did things that aren't legal, aren't condoned, but I was raised by Johnny Rambo, First Blood, right? He drew First Blood.
Yep.
Right. So I took his head and slammed it against the boards, and then I kneed him in the head.
Dude.
And it's right on video, that Unrivaled. And to this day, Tommy, that he wakes up in the morning, and I felt that whatever, he wakes up, he looks in the mirror, he's got a welt on his head. It's like on the side of his head. It's not like Tremont's where you can see it, but he's got a welt on the side of his head from reminding him not to be stupid. So the bottom line, not only I beat him up that game, but I scored the game winner in that game. I only got 4 minutes to rough.
That's the part people don't remember.
But
you didn't get kicked out, and then you won the fucking game, bro.
And that was a turning point because they were our rivals. They beat us out before we hadn't beat them, and then we went on to beat them in the conference finals and win the cup. But that's the
story. It was literally
it's a great wrestling.
It's a movie.
It's usually made up, but it's not.
Like that's
real life.
Dude, and my favorite fucking part of that whole thing is you're half dressed in the fucking penalty box, draped over the top of it. I think it was like Shanny's coming in. Everybody's just
coming in. Way to go, little buddy.
And you're smoking it. And you're like, fuck yeah. You can read your lips. You're like, fuck yeah, baby, way to go. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I remember seeing that. And then flash forward, I'm at XICW. I have all of these championship belts that I had at the time on, and fucking Eddie Venom comes up to me and was like, "Hey man, my boy Darren wants to get a picture with you." And I look over and I was like, "Is your boy Darren McCarty?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I remember, dude, I don't even know if you remember. I was like speechless. I walked over, gave you a handshake. You were like, "Can I get a picture?" I was like, "Sure." We took a picture. And dude, I was literally like, just.
I would have never known that out of you guys because you know, and I'm not. I walk around like I forget like a lot of the stuff like that, but it's
Oh, for sure. It's casual for you now. Because
yeah,
walking through the
well,
airport,
or whatever. But I get it. But like when I'm at like if I'm at LCA playing Mayor Hockey Town, well, I know that everybody's looking at me and stuff like this. I just like in the wrestling, and I forget all you know, all you
grew up.
2-year-olds, 5-year-olds are now older. You know, like the culture, and that's the whole thing about understanding. So it's really cool that I don't expect. I guess it's because I don't expect. It blows me away, like when the younger generation,
It's timeless.
and
You know?
you know what I'm saying. It is because of the
Which you're a literal, like not to suck your dick or anything, but you're a literal living legend. Like, dude, I have like posters on my walls that you.
And here's the thing, Tommy, but you know me well enough. Is that I don't. So I get it, but I don't see myself that I don't.
No, you like that's
like it's not carrying it, but I mean I don't.
You're
like,
humble,
dude.
It's
like
humble.
I see myself like finding a buddy chip like Malcolm did when his truck route, the little squirrel.
Like, and that like for me, that's like the part about like our relationship, like the father son angle and stuff, like how it developed was just like you genuinely like I've met a ton of people who I bumped into Calvin Johnson before when I was at speed training at Total Sports, and they were like there. So I said hi. I actually, fun fact for you, he probably doesn't even know this because I was just a random person. I met Braylon Edwards at a bar. He was friends with somebody. I was dating somebody, and her sister was friends with him. And she was like, "Do you want to meet Braylon Edwards?" And I was like, "Do it." Do I want to meet the greatest fucking college football wide receiver of my fucking life? Yeah. I would love to meet the guy that I watched lay out and catch a fucking diving cat.
Well, isn't that interesting? I work with him every day. We're sports. You want to get high with Braylon Edwards?
Dude, I would love to get high with Braylon Edwards.
I'm going to bring him to a show.
Dude, fuck yeah, man.
So he's a wrestling fan.
Oh, fuck yeah.
He just hasn't been shown the next world, but I'm going to bring him.
Bring him to XI next Sunday.
That'd be a good one if I.
But no, dude. Like I just like I've met a ton of people, and like, but you're like the only one who I've like met and then like had a continued relationship with that person, and you have never. You've literally you've been beyond helpful. Beyond giving, like this again, not to like just suck your dick or like put you on the spot or anything like that.
No,
it's visual.
But like, can you say how it is, and this is what I love, like the organicness of it, where it's nothing. We just let it, and that's the thing, and in sort of realizing and where it's great to see Aaron back. It's great to see Aaron, this kid, but it was sort of like in that time that you're talking about where you felt you were by yourself, but then sort of maybe God or whatever put it around where you weren't. But then it's like to watch, like I said, like it's tell everybody, dude, is that what my role for all you guys are to whoever that I support is to show you, like to help you get through any of the roadblocks or the bullshit, or to make it a little bit easier so that your passion and what you're trying to attain that you can get without some of the bullshit maybe I ran into or that I know from experience is ahead. And also too is the accountability. And the one thing is like, don't tell me what, tell me who. And you know what the one thing is? Tell me what I always say. I'm here to answer questions or to fight, right? Because if you're not doing what I'm doing or my guys, girls, whatever my team's doing, right, then I ain't letting you around them. And there's enough fucking shitheads in the world, right, that you don't need to be around. I love the fact of what, Danny coming out and death match is a lifestyle and there's no competition. And I love hearing that, with that struggles post the other day at GCW and felt like love galore. Everybody, it was all family. It's all at different levels and support each other. And
there's definitely been a shift. Like
it started because of the people. It only starts at the top. So it's everybody at the top being respectful to each other and shit. And you know what? Fucking there's dick and there's people out there. Here's the one thing that I always say. right? Is that if you don't hear it come out of my mouth, or if I'm not involved around it specifically, and the biggest way I show that is where does the brand go?
Yeah.
Right. And other than that, it's for different places. I mean, I'm guilty of it. Is that I'm for the wrestlers and the fans.
Yep.
So that's what it's all about. I'm trying to get you guys to where you guys want to go. You got to do the work.
No, yeah,
dude, I'm gonna be watching regardless, and I'm gonna be smoking weed regardless, and I'm gonna be producing product regardless. That'll be for everybody to enjoy more, but I'm into that conversation, and that's why as the expansion to what's out there, it's just making it a little easy, because fuck, we all talk, and it's the fact that people who are watching this, that are talking, is that we're all in this together. Yeah, if you want to be, man, and we've met so many great people around, and going
family,
and dude,
literal family. Like I like my immediate family I'm close with, but like my extended family,
right.
I'm not like
this is it.
extremely close with them, but like wrestling has become like much like the military was.
Dude, every time, you know what it's like? You're right that. You know what it's like? It's like going to your grandma's for or going to the reunion, right, with the cousins, and you know that everybody's coming in from else, and it's going to be like a weekend, and it's just it's fun, because that's
but you get it every single weekend.
It's like to wherever you want, and different cousins. Sometimes it's these cousins, and it's those relationships.
It's like, and I've said this to Stephanie a couple of times. I think I've said it on a couple of podcasts. You begin to feel kind of like a superhero, because you almost have like two separate lives.
Well, that's why it is. No.
It's nuts to me that like I'll wrestle on IWTV, like my match with Tremont. Shout out my boy Matt Tremont.
Shout out Tremont. Hats off.
Yeah, hats off to H2O.
H2O
and the Godfather.
Love H2O and the Godfather.
Love them.
I haven't made it there yet, but
I had that match with him, which is what I consider probably top 5 matches of my career. Not even just death matches, just matches in general. And that Monday, I was scrubbing shit off of toilets.
Yeah,
at work.
So, but you know the goal, right? You know the goal that we're working for. The goal is to make it so that why doing everything else, but it's also too is I firmly believe that you are where you're supposed to be, and right now all this like shit that you're scrubbing off the toilet is to keep that groundedness to whatever you're still working towards, and you know it motivates you. You know, everybody motivates, and that's like the picture of understanding. It's the journey. The destination is an oasis, because you're a human being. You always want more and more and more. So it's just saying, okay, and when you can go back and, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna scrub shitters because I get to wrestle Matt Tremont.
One of my favorite quotes, I think I just heard it the other day, and it's literally one of my favorite quotes right now, is somebody who loves walking will walk farther than somebody who wants to go somewhere. So like if you're walking somewhere, but somebody loves walking and they just want to get here, the person who loves walking, who loves that journey, is just going to keep on going. Right. And then in essence, it was saying like you have to fall in love with the journey.
Oh, dude.
And like, and I know you and I have talked about that probably at length.
And here's why. And it's not to fall in love, because when it's easy, it's easy. Yeah. It's easy to go, oh, right or left. Oh, who cares? I make a right here and I made it wrong. I'll just swing back around. Whereas opposed to when it's tough, and when you think that the world's coming down on you, and you feel like that, if I go right and it's wrong, I'm fucking dead. No, that's not true. Like it's all for perspective, and it's all for understanding that what is your part to doing it. So that's why the journey, it's because it's the same thing as like nobody wants to get a flat tire, but the odds of you getting a flat tire if you drive so much.
But also, like, even more so, like, getting a flat tire, like, you ever changed a flat tire? Like, that shit makes you feel like you just conquered the world.
Dude, I'll tell you this.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
There was one day, I was living at my mom's house. I just got out of the military, and somebody knocked on our front door. Their car's tire blew out, like in our neighborhood, and they saw my car in the driveway. So they were like, "Oh, well, someone's here. Maybe they can help me." They were an older lady, and I just was like, "Fuck it, I got the time. I'll go out there and fucking change a tire." And then her son like rolled up, and I was like finishing it up, and he like was gonna give me like $20. I was like, "Nah, dude, I don't need that." Like I was literally just.
And how did it make you feel?
Yeah, I walked inside and I called my mom.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Mom, you'll never guess what I just did." And like, dude, for like
karma's real, guys. Trust me.
No,
your intention's pure.
Karma's real, manifestation's real. Like I was telling
Absolutely.
you, like our cat, our youngest cat, Fiona. Saturday the door got open. She ran out. We hadn't seen her. We saw her like
She ain't
once.
fixed yet. Little whore want to get knocked up.
Literally, that's yeah. She 100%. She's went into heat and she was like, "Let me just go outside. I know there's good dick out here."
Dick in the D.
Let me go
Gotta get the dick in the D.
Dude, because she be trying to fuck her brothers and
I
shit. And
know.
I'm like, "No, they don't even have balls. What are you doing?" But she had gotten out, and for like the last 2 days, we were going out there with flashlights at night trying to find her. Stephanie had seen her like sprinting around in the middle of the night, then we couldn't find her at all. So we were like, we gotta go in, like we gotta get sleep. And then this morning, I woke up. We had been manifesting all weekend, like 11/11, make a wish, all that. And then this morning, I woke up last night. I had a dream that Stephanie found her either on a house, because we had found her originally, she was on our neighbor's roof,
right,
or in a house. So I was like, she's either
which tells you she's a survivor to begin with, and no, because it came from outside, but you found her on a house,
and so that means she also she's a military strategist, because she claimed the high ground.
What I'm saying is this is a very, very smart.
No, she's extremely
survival cat.
She's probably about 8-9 months old, and we got her at like 6 months.
Yeah, no,
she's lived her whole life on the streets pretty much. But this morning, we have cameras, and I see some motion on the cameras. I was at work, and I look, and I see Stephanie coming in holding something, and then she texted me. She was like, "I got her. She's in the house." And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "Yeah, she was in the cat house outside." And I was like, "Son of a bitch." And then and not to go, and we're gonna go a little bit like on high talk here for a second.
Cool.
So there's a Joe Rogan podcast, and if you please,
I like Joe Rogan.
If you've seen Joe Rogan, Graham Hancock is his name.
Yeah, I watch all those. Which subject?
They were talking about it was ancient lost civilizations.
Yeah.
And
I think I just watched that on YouTube.
Dude, he was talking about like how he thinks they cohabitated with like hunter-gatherer societies, and
and this was before when all the land masses were joined, and then
I believe so. Yes,
and then there glaciers and the big flood, and it split.
And he thinks that what caused that was there was a comet like impact that on the polar ice caps that caused it all, in Greenland, that caused the flooding, which submerged like Atlantis, which submerged all those places and stuff.
All that shit.
But
the hunter-gatherer, then the ones that got stranded.
Well, that
had crossed.
And that's where they think it like wiped out civilizations. But the hunter-gatherers were so adapted to just living off of land, they just knew where to go. Whereas these other people who had like perhaps adapted the same way we have, to where now we like thrive on electricity and things without.
Oh, you think it was that? He thinks it was that advanced.
Dude,
because if it was Atlantis and they had all that stuff, and So are you saying, Tommy, that that up here in Michigan we're pretty good because there's some like up north dudes, and if you can live off the land, and
that's what
because of technology for something
you have to be able.
Catastrophic's going to happen.
Yeah,
is that what they were predicting?
Essentially, and
aren't we behind for something?
We are. We're we're in
2,000 years.
I think we're within like our 2,000-year range where we could get just fucking smacked with something. I'm not sure, but I want to look that up. But
there's shit flying out there all the time.
Oh, dude,
we're
literally this fucking big. in this fucking vast.
Oh yeah.
It's but like he was saying the way that like ancient Egyptians like
Mhm.
created the pyramids and like how it like people like still can't, it doesn't make sense,
Right.
like,
No, it's
and people have like speculated that it's aliens and
right.
all this other crazy shit. And he was like, what if they just literally had ancient technology that we haven't,
Got to yet.
because
That's what it
we
said.
focus on internal combustion to
Right.
like
No,
cause
no,
everything.
that's what it seems like. It was an advanced civilization.
Like
with,
we look at explosion, they look at implosion, is what he's saying essentially. And he's saying like, what if there's this like, so, and the way that they adapted to this way of thinking was through shamans, which it was like, and shamans would use like LSD and acid, like those types of things
oh
that
no.
we like that are illegal necessarily. Besides, like now I think microdosing is
Yeah.
legal.
No, that's
and
coming around to open up the mind and stuff. But
that's
just,
why I'm trying to get back into that.
Wouldn't it make sense? Wouldn't it make sense that if that's the case, where it wiped everything else out, then it was sort of like falling down the mountain and starting at zero again? So we've only evolved to this, like
Well,
the
that's
the last evolution evolved to level 10. This evolution's only evolved to level 6 so far. We still got more to go. Like
that's
so.
kind of
So
what
when
he's,
you
like,
open up
getting
your
at.
mind, because it's the whole thing about resurrection, the soul, the energies, the vibration. So with the shaman and an open mind, you actually know
what's
the
bringing you into a
answers.
different spirituality too, I think, which is then awakening a higher consciousness.
Absolutely.
Because like, I mean, like like I've taken microdosing of shrooms, and I've literally,
I've maxed those shrooms.
I think I've dosed like shrooms as well. And I'm pretty sure it's a fun story, not a fun story. I'm pretty sure somebody gave me acid, or LSD, one of the two.
Isn't that the same thing?
I think it's the same thing, but like I think LSD is like liquid form, isn't it?
I don't know.
Something, I don't know, but I got a liquid form. They told me it was THC, but I drove home, and then when I was laying in bed, and I remember standing up, and dude, it felt
like you're out of body
it
stand up.
felt like like my body was still laying down, and I was just like
when the
floating.
When the ghost gets up out of the body.
And I swear on my life, dude, I walked through my house, I went down, got
You feel like you're floating, or you feel like you're walking?
Dude, I felt like I was living. Like it was normal, because like I went down, I grabbed a plate of food, I ate, and then like
was the plate real?
No, because my mom was like, "Hey, dinner's ready," and then it was like back to my body, and then I like got up and was like, and so I walked downstairs. I grabbed the same. I already knew what I wanted, so I put the plate of food.
Oh, you'd already done it before.
Dude,
multiverse.
So that's what
you zip the multiverse,
dude, and that's what
that's what we just get.
I'm like really starting to get into it.
I like it. No, I'm all about it.
And like we've
all you got to do is check my YouTube history,
dude.
I'm all about the Y files, all about the. That's a good.
And I'm really getting into like ancient civilizations that had like achieved on different like consciousness than us, or like awakened something different. Because like one of the he's saying like one of the main things through all these myths is that there's like a very similar theme to them, and they always say
like religion.
And they and they say like, oh well, like that it's to tell you a story or to get you to like understand something or whatnot. And I'm like, well, what if it's like just all of these different cultures that were around the world are talking about the exact same events that happened? Like the seas opened up, Poseidon.
No, that's what it is. It's the translation of it.
Yeah, and like
it's just what made it happen.
Yeah.
What is the truth?
And like that's what like it's just crazy that like this dude Graham Hancock. Please look him up.
I did, yeah.
But like he's literally there's like evidence he's giving for this shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like I'm literally the whole day at work. I'm driving in the car and I'm like, what the fuck? Huh? That just what? He's like talking about like in the Great Pyramids above the King's Chamber. There's these like 3 other chambers that are like they're 70 tons, which is the equivalent to like 30 SUVs, and they're just like suspended.
No, it's definitely either an advanced race or advanced technology.
dude. And
right?
I don't like
zapping them up, like where you see the stuff that Tesla, with levitation and whatever. Like, so there's an answer, but it's just what it is. You said it's a journey.
All right, so my last question
All
for
right.
you.
Oh, fucking Lemieux deserved it, by the way.
That's getting clipped. That's getting clipped. Fucking hell yeah, he did. Dude, he probably deserved a couple more fights. Should have shoved his head into the fucking ice too, man. This fuck. But dude, I will say this before I ask that question. Looking at his face when he like glances back at the ice going up the tunnel. Oh, he wasn't sleeping good for a few days.
You're a deathmatch guy.
Oh,
you know what taking some shit.
Dude, you
fucked him. I fucked him
up. But so my last.
By the way, we're not going to talk about it, but the next year on November 11th, we fought off the draw. We'll talk about that next time.
Oh yeah, we'll save that for the next one because I do remember which one you're talking about. That was him like saying like, he's got to get.
I said it.
Oh, you were like.
I was saying that I was the only one. You can look it up in the McCarty too. So I was just happy that he was fighting that time.
Fuck yeah! All right, so my question for you, my last question, out of the death matches you've been in, hockey fights, all of that, how do you mentally get yourself to go there? Because I know how I get myself to go there.
In hockey, it was not that I wanted to do it. It was that I wanted to do it more than any one of my guys had to. So it's a team thing. And with the death match and all that, it's part of the story and being a part of it. And like I said, I don't mind taking bumps and getting smashed for shit. And it's sort of like like some of like these guys that do it, that you gotta have, that's gotta be something to feed the monster, I say.
Yeah.
Like to me, like that's the whole thing with the addiction or whatever. I have the monster. Monster doesn't go away, but he's in the yard and I feed him, but he stays outside the house. And I get to in the death matches where I said, okay, you want to go play in blood again and you want to go get crazy and do this shit or do the wrestling stuff, take a bump or whatever like that. Then he knows he's seen.
Yeah.
Right. So how do I get? I'm more nervous. I'm more nervous if I got to actually do a more of a wrestling match. Like if like, but unless like, see, I'm sort of old school with the play the crowd. So
yeah.
So and shout out to House of Truth and Truth Martini, because
big shout out,
because that's where like the limited enough to protect myself, how to take the ring rope, wrist locks, shoulder tackle, Stone Cold's moveset, right? Because my finisher is the D-Max Stoner, and I punch and stun instead of kick, right? So, and you'll see Tommy throw it out every now and then for
I got it
for homage.
Big shout.
But it's that excites me. Like, so if I got to get in the ring and do something, but I want to get in the crowd anytime I can to play with the kids. And play with the kids means to get the heel because I'm the baby face, to get to slap them and get to hit them and be a part of it. I'm all about the crowd, and that's why I'm there, because I'm not the wrestler. And so whatever the story makes to give anybody shine, I'm not. That's what it is. Or I'm there to watch, or I'm there to watch because to build where everybody knows where my passion is that different guys will come and ask me for advice, and it's easier to ask me because they know I don't have, like, my intentions are pure for whatever else, and I'll tell you straight up what I think or what I would envision, and I'm big at watching. I'm big at I've always been a huge Aaron O'Ryan fan of the person, and that's sort of watching. I think that leads it back is because of seeing how the DTA was, and then like shout out to Bronner. 7 Mile Assassin, baby, and
outs, bro.
And all the DTA.
What? We'll clip that.
Absolutely. And even your little prick, Adam Wick.
Yeah. Fuck you. You piece of shit.
You little cocksucker.
Love you though.
Yeah, we do. But you know, just being around, and I just be a part. And then even with Danny and being and Chris and RPW, and you know, like Shadow, like the people I've gotten to meet, and just it pops me. You know, if I get to sit down and have
Oh,
relationships.
dude, you get like when you're at shows, you're like a kid in a candy.
Oh, I am,
I
man.
fucking
It's
love
just
it,
like
man.
because and
love it.
and like, dude, like it
It's
like,
literally like when you and I first met, it was at a point where I was like, wrestle. I gotta wrestle today.
yeah,
You know, and
yeah.
then like the more that you and I started to hang out, we started to go
And
to
the
shows.
more that you saw that you could get on a journey, because I think that that's what it was. I was just here to see if, hey, oh, you wanna, hey, if you needed a workout partner, you're like not a partner, but somebody that inspired you, or the team.
It was the pit. Genuinely, it was the pit with Brandon, because
right.
I remember I got there and I was like, this motherfucker in real life just did that.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
I was like,
that one was a blast.
Dude,
and I
so
love,
much fucking
dude.
fun.
I'm gonna, dude.
And I was looking at the clips go like in the back, and I was like, all right. And that's when I went out there with Duke, I was like, all right, man.
Oh, dude, is that the one where you took the fucking
the brain buster?
Oh, but the way you like fucking holy crossed it. Yeah, but then you like that was like, but that was
a fun fact for you. Lance Storm said I was stupid for doing that on Twitter. So shout out Lance Storm.
Well, he's an. I mean, hey.
I mean, it was very dumb. I'll give it.
Was it smart? No, of course not.
It's stupid, but it looked very dope.
Yeah, it looked cool. Yeah, dumb as shit. No, you're right, Lance. But no, I just love. You know, it is Kid the Candy. Like I said, for the fans, and that's what I love, the love between the fans, like shout out Bocce's and
big shout out Bocce boys,
and just all the love, you know, to the people that you know that I love to go see, like Larry's and the Sean's and the Shoes and the Ginas and the refs and Stoney
I'm Shoes security guard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you saw me save his life with Tremont, right?
Oh yeah.
Tremont through the can, and I fucking
yeah.
There's a Braylon Edwards.
Yeah. Hey, Shoes, we got your back here.
Big shout out to
absolutely.
Red Shoes.
High respect for the stripes, but
so let me ask you this.
Stoney and Weedith and all the crew, you know, dude, Carrie struggles, you know.
That it's such a family there. Like it's.
I mean, that's why you got to be excited about going to Tennessee this weekend, dude, because that's the you
like I genuinely. It's been a stressful last week with the power outages and all that fucking crazy shit. And like going into this, I should be like, "Fuck, I gotta go to Tennessee." Like, what if the power goes? And I'm literally like, I'm amped.
Yeah,
I'm like, me and Malcolm are about to fucking just hop in the car.
What's great to like you and that's you know what, that's what it was. I gave you the flint. And you lit it, and he grabbed on too, because he said, "Hey, buddy, let's go," because his fire's back.
And I genuinely think, and I don't want to take credit for him, but like you lit the flint for me, and I think I lit the fire for Malcolm.
Yes, you did.
Because Malcolm and I are very close in age. He's been doing it way longer.
But you guys also, you see, and I know this like just inside, because like how tight you are and communicate and how you lean on each other, but the fact that you're both push each other, like there's nothing more than watching you two fight, because it's fucking awesome.
Well, we always want to one up each other. It's we 100%.
That's what you guys are like the epitome of
we're best.
You're like the Kelsey brothers.
Yeah, I would say we're like brothers.
Yeah, but you're like, if you watch football and you saw the Super Bowl and you saw that one Kelsey brother Travis was for Kansas City and one brother Jason was for Philadelphia, right? But but compete like brothers, but have that love.
But we've always, I feel like there's been a little bit of a professional rivalry,
absolutely,
which is how it
and there has to be, because that's how you're going to get to the next level.
And that's kind of what DTA has always been. It's always been like, oh, Isaiah's doing this, that, and the other. Okay, like, it's cool. I got you. I'll see you. I'll raise you. Let me.
Right. No.
You did this. I did this.
You know what? There's different ways to climb the mountain. Yeah. You're all going to end up at the top.
And I think like
you work, you're going to end up all at the top.
For sure. It doesn't
matter how you get there.
And like, because Malcolm, I don't want to say like Malcolm was like in a rut, But like Malcolm will even tell
Burned
you,
out. We call it burned out.
Yeah,
he was
like
burned
he was
out.
probably burnt out around the time where like I first debuted at ICW, and then I remember I was going back from ICW, and then I was going back to ex-ICW, and I think he was noticing a change. He was seeing I was like coming to be
You
more
inspired
comfortable.
him.
I don't want to say that.
No, I think you did. Well, you know what? Here's Dad giving you a suggestion for next episode or another episode.
Malcolm,
you and Malcolm,
we got to.
We might just
do it. We might just do it on the road to Tennessee.
You should do it while you drive.
That's actually this weekend we're filming another one. But no, dude, it genuinely like it felt like we almost like reignited each other to be like, no, dude, like I'm gonna do this. 100%. Come with me. You're doing that. All right, I'm gonna do this, and then now we're doing it together, and we have the pillars and all that. But let me ask you this.
All right.
Where are you gonna be at for the rest of the month? Like I know you got a couple of things coming up. You got Comic-Con.
No, I just had I got okay.
I'm gonna make you think before we log off here. Or sign off, whatever the kids say nowadays.
Toledo, I'll be Sunday. Next Sunday I'll be in Toledo for Fantasticon, I think it's called. I'll be I know I have a bunch of Wings games to do, a bunch of wrestling events.
I gotta get to one of these Wings games soon.
But I will be, I know for sure, I don't know where the schedule, I'm gonna try to make it to Tennessee Saturday.
Fuck yeah.
For that, for your
just
fight
in case
Casey.
Old Brandon Kirk
wants
to slide in there.
Yeah, we don't need that. Fuck, he got other plans.
Because it's, you know how it is. It's hashtag fuck the Kirks for life.
I'm more scared of her anyways.
I preferred when she was Casey Catal. Just saying.
Absolutely.
Now she's back to Casey Kirk. It's whatever.
And hey, you know what?
My girlfriend just said we love Casey no matter what.
Yeah, we do. We do. We don't.
Unless she's a Kirk. Because when she's Casey Kirk on Saturday, I'm gonna fuck you up. You heard it there, Brando.
Anyways, yeah. So, but at the end of the month, so Jersey for ICW, RPW, whatever we're at. For
and we got the only one we got announced right now is RPW, Danny Darko. You're in my current
We're doing
for
that
Danny
one for.
Darko.
I look excited to be. So that's Jersey, right?
We're gonna beat some fucking UK ass. That's what we're gonna do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was Jersey. Be like fucking.
I'll bring you some fish and chips,
dude. And I gotta go over there in May.
Wait, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Do you know?
I don't know
when you're leaving, right? No,
I don't know any of that yet.
We'll find out more this weekend.
Yeah, we will for sure. But I do know I'm going to do what we should have done in '75, back in 1775. We should have floated our happy asses across the board. We should have taken the attack on your soil instead of in our 13 colonies.
Anyways, I'm gonna be parental. These are some of the things that you get to witness. Is your passport up to date?
I believe so. I got to double check it, but I'm almost 100% sure it's through 2024.
Now would be the time at the end of March.
For sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Just to double check.
I'll
put your eyes
go down
on it.
after this podcast.
Absolutely.
I will double check it.
Because those are the things that we need to do. But no, a lot of interesting stuff. A lot of it is let's see. If you want to check out what I got going on, DarrenMcCarty.com.
DarrenMcCarty.com. What are your social media
Darren
handles?
McCarty 4 on Twitter, and then Darren McCarty official and real Darren McCarty on Facebook and Instagram.
Bam. Well, fucking appreciate you sitting down with me, brother. I'm glad we finally got to do it.
You got it, homie.
Fuck yeah. This will probably be posted up, hopefully, in the next couple of days. I'm going to put it on my Patreon. And then after it's on my Patreon, probably after the Tennessee trip, I'm going to throw it up on Monday on the YouTube. So,
sounds good.
Everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.